Oh boy. Do I have thoughts or do I have thoughts? The Denver Nuggets lose to the Wolves for the first time all year. First time all year. First time all year they lose to the Wolves. And this is easily one of their 5 worst shooting performances of the season. Cam Johnson was horrible today, as everybody in the chat is mentioning. The Nuggets lose, and I'm talking about get obliterated when Jokic sits down again for back-to-back games. But my biggest actual issue with what happened today is this, for me, is yet another example and another sign. I think David Adelman has gotten absolutely outcoached over the last month or so. I think for him and for this team, them not having a 4 has meant the world because they can't defend the way they want to defend. Cool. But structurally, they have been getting obliterated in the Jonas Valanciunas minutes in the last 2 games. Jonas Valanciunas in 8 minutes versus OKC, minus 21. Jonas today in the 9 minutes versus this team, minus 15. Now the question becomes, well, what do you do? Like, what can you do? You can't play Jokic on 48, and I don't think they need to do that either. But what I have noticed about David Adelman is that the only difference, people are bringing up the clutch stuff for Denver. Denver is one of the 4th worst clutch teams in the league. They've been top 1 or 3 for the last 4 years. Every year. They've really been an elite clutch team since 2018-19. The only thing that's changed is David Adelman, and what's happened over the last stretch of games is it is becoming more increasingly obvious. He is just quite simply getting his bell rung right now. I think the rotations are trash. The lineups have been trash. But I just want people to understand, back-to-back quarters now, the Nuggets held the Timberwolves to 22 points in the first quarter with a 9-point lead. And then in the first quarter versus OKC, they held OKC to 21 points in the first quarter. So they get the game started off really well. And then what happens is they go to their all-bench lineup outside of Cam. No Murray, no Jokic, no Gordon, no Watson. Once again, no Murray, no Jokic, no Gordon, no Watson. The Minnesota Timberwolves went on a 10-0 run, including a Jonas Valanciunas unnecessary flagrant foul on Bones Highland, where he sets the screen, and instead of just setting the screen and rolling, he sets the screen and raises his elbow. It's a clear flagrant, which I'm just like, why? For what? So then the Wolves go on a 10-0 run. Jokic then returns to the game, down 2, and they were a minus 11 in the first half what he said. And they go on a 12-0 run. Eventually, the Wolves got out to a 23-7 run. 23-7. And I'm watching David Adelman just allow it to happen. So I'm trying to figure out, what exactly is it that the team is missing right now? And I think, people are really upset with the Cam thing. And Cam was horrible today. Don't get me wrong. 0-6. He played 23 minutes today, had 0 points. He was a minus 13. This is easily one of his worst games of his career. And somebody said it on Twitter, but that last shot that he had in the end of game versus OKC, since that point, Cam has been garbage. He was playing really good defense versus OKC too. And today he was getting obliterated. Y'all, there was a stretch. Let me pull this up for you. There was a stretch of basketball where Cam Johnson got beat on a 3-ball. It was 3 straight plays. Yeah, here 3 straight plays. Cam lost the ball on a rebound. Io puts the ball up. Thankfully doesn't make it. Cam then bricks a 3 in transition. Naz Reid then hits a 3 right in Cam's face off a pick and roll. Cam then fouls Bones Highland on a drive. Cam then gives up another and one. That one was to, I can't remember. Might have been Nas, might have been Jaden, can't remember. And then Cam had another one where Bones Highland gave him an in and out, beat him to the spot underneath the rim, and scored on him. And I was just like, Cam is playing incredibly soft. Incredibly soft. Incredibly soft in this game. So that was obviously a problem today. But more and more, man, I think this team they're missing a lot. They're missing an identity, y'all. Again, a minus 15 without Jokic and a minus 21 in back-to-back games, y'all. That's a minus 36 in 2 games, bro. Like, that's not NBA basketball. And, I don't know how else to say it, other than the fact that, like, this team is, since the schedule's gotten tougher, since Jokic has gone back, I think it's just everybody refining an identity, but also the team's been a horrible jump shooting team, y'all. They were 6 of 22 from 3 today and 20 of 27 from the free throw line. Missed 7 free throws, and they missed 16 threes, y'all. Jokic was 1 of 4. Cam Johnson was 0 of 4. Christian Brown was 0 of 2. Jim Hardaway was 3 of 4. Jamal Murray was only 2 of 6. They only got 22 threes up. They got outscored from the three-point line by 8 threes, y'all. 24 points. It's just small stuff, man. They've been dominating the Wolves this year, y'all. They have double-digit leads in multiple games versus the Wolves, double-digit wins, and then they had the last game on Christmas. No AG and everything, obviously, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, the team is mid right now. They're like 16 and 17 since like the middle of December. They haven't had their starting lineup since the start of the year, but I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, they're not playing well. Jokic today had 35 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. He also had 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, I think, in the third quarter. Jamal Murray ended up getting going, but he was 9 of 22. He had 25 points today, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He had a great dunk on Rudy Gobert. Julian Strauss only played 16 minutes. He was a +8. Christian Brown played 37 minutes. He was a +2. He had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He actually played good defense to start the game. So at some point, they're going to have to reestablish their identity. They are. They're going to have to reestablish their identity. And I'm not sure what exactly it's going to take for them to do that. But, I think y'all, if people are going to troll, let people troll. It is what it is. Y'all, I know y'all upset in the comments, but tell Jokic tell MVP man to play better. He was the best player on the floor by a lot today. So that's what I'm saying, man. I don't think it was a perfect game. I think he had some defensive lapses in the third because he was scoring like crazy. They started the game off super well. Theo Harris, 8978. $5 super chat. Thank you. Even if AG and Watson come back, we're at the point in the season where they can easily bleed into the playoffs. Absolutely. I mean, at this point, there's definitely possible. There's only a month and a half to go, if that, not even. And now they've fallen to the 5th, 6th seed. Now, they played a really difficult stretch of games, but they've also just not been good. They have 24 losses on the season now. So they were 13? They were 12 and 3 to start the year off. So since they've been 12 and 3, they're 25 and 20 since they started experiencing those injuries. That's a mid basketball team. That's a 500 team damn near with some bad losses in there. Multiple leads blown. They're 4 and 6 in their last 10. About to be 4 and 7 in their last 7. They're 5 and 8 in the last 13. So like I said, the only thing that's changed with this team is David Adelman, and I just think he's kind of lost the plot a lot lately. Just some really, really, really bad decisions that have been made. Bad play but have absolutely been exacerbated by bad decision making. And then, the way it works, y'all, in the NBA is once you start losing momentum, which they did, it's really hard to get a team back down. The Wolves had no confidence to start the game. None. No confidence to start the game. They were getting, like, the Nuggets were contesting and they were rotating. They were making really good plays. Like, they were doing all kind of stuff. And then literally once they went to that nonsense bench unit with no Murray, no Jokic, and everybody started playing soft, and Jonas made that dumb foul and dumb flagrant, it was a 12-0 run. And it was like out of nowhere, the lead is evaporated. All the hard work you had done, you lost all the momentum. And now the Nuggets got Utah, Los Angeles, the Knicks. So the Lakers, the Knicks, and then OKC, Houston, and San Antonio, and then LA, and then Philly. Like, those are all playoff teams. So at some point, you're going to have to decide you want different and you want better. Now, AG and Peyton Watson will be back in the next week, I imagine. So by the time we get to the 8th, which is Sunday, they'll be back. But then the question you have to ask yourself is, what are they coming back to? What's the identity going to be? And David, I really don't know what the conversation with Jonas Valanciunas was behind the scenes. But David Adelman plays him every single game, even in matchups where I don't think it's a good fit. And lately, that has been a real problem for this team. Everything's changed. Like, every single thing has changed about the roster and about the team. They played really good defense, too. That's the frustrating play. They started all these games. They started all these games lately well. Like, you just can't lose all that momentum at the top of the second quarter. I just don't, like I said, it's the injuries, it's all kind of stuff. Everything contributes to it. Everything contributes to it. Everything contributes to where the downfall has happened. Yeah, this is. Oh my gosh! So I'm watching. Shout out to Jake Shapiro, by the way, who posted David Adelman's comments. Let me listen to these right here. Matter of fact, let me play it. Let me play it for the group. Let me play it for the. So y'all can hear what David Adelman had to say and see. And by the way, I want y'all to hear what David Adelman has to say, and I want you to hear exactly what I've been telling you the last two games. Really, multiple games now, but in particular, the last two games, so you can hear exactly what David is saying. So you can hear exactly what I've been saying. So you can hear exactly what the issue is. Because this is David directly from David Adelman. Let's hear what he has to say.
I thought we let struggles offensively, missed shots, turn into horrendous defense. That run was, I believe it was in 2 minutes and 3 seconds. I told them after the game that's just inexcusable. I thought we were very competitive throughout the night, but not during that. Like I said, that 2 minutes, and that can lose you a game against a really good team. So we gave them life. I really thought it was us, not them. And it's just something we have to learn from. I have to find a unit that'll actually do it, compete at a higher level, because to me that was the game. Then I had to extend minutes, and I'm playing guys into the ground. I can't do that, especially with the way the schedule's been very dense, and we go into another back-to-back. So just need more from everybody. We talked about that in the locker room, and we'll get our opportunity tomorrow.
So the funny thing about this is that, hey, Swipa has been saying this for some time. that like you can't continue to put units out there. It's not just about Murray and Jokic not being out there. They're small. How many times do I have to say this? You cannot play small for Denver. The Nuggets do not work small. They don't work small. The team doesn't work small. I've said this multiple times. You cannot play small around Jokic because of his deficiencies around the rim, but even offensively. Jokic depends that if you're getting certain coverages, and I have a center in my face, which is Rudy Gobert, it is dependent on Jokic getting to this spot and then being able to throw the ball in to an actual interior player. Now, obviously, AG is not here, so that affects that. But what happened? Literally, go to the game rep. I wish I could show the film. I wish I could find the play and show the film to you in the fourth quarter. I wish I could find the film and show it to you in the fourth quarter. Julius Randle was horrible in this game, mind you. He was bad. He wasn't good. But then he had moments. That's all you need, right? Moments. So what happened was, because the Nuggets are playing so small, Julius, on a backside play, gets a crazy advantage versus Bruce Brown. And then he just simply, I think the game, matter of fact, let me go to the play-by-play so I can give you exactly when it happened. I go to the play-by-play. I believe the Nuggets were up down 7 points. Let me get to this. See, Julius Randle layup. The score is 111. It's 111 to 104. Okay? 111 to 104. 3 minutes and 27 seconds left. Julius Randle gets a layup because Bruce Brown is playing the power forward. Bruce. And Cam was so bad he couldn't close. So what I'm saying is that because the Nuggets play at the level, or because Jokic is playing in a catch drop, depending on the scheme, and then you have an actual four next to Rudy Gobert and Julius, and then you also have Jaden McDaniel, who's 6'9" and long. So when you're playing defense, the way the Nuggets defend is you have to have bodies. So the reason why they obliterated Minnesota in the first two games, one without, is because they were using size everywhere. And Tim Hardaway Jr. went crazy in one of those quarters. But the issue is that when you play small, David Adelman, you literally put the team in a bind because the teams can't function when they're playing small because this is not a small playing roster. They have to play with size. I don't understand. I don't get it. I really, truly don't get it. I don't understand. Zeke Naji played just for a little bit today. And again, people are like, oh, Zeke sucks. Zeke's bad. He's not a good player. He doesn't do this and that. I hear you. But what I'm telling you is that playing small doesn't work for this team either. It doesn't work for this team either. You got Deron Holmes. You got Zeke. Throw him in there. Give it a shot. With Jokic. Play with some size. It matters. Because it changes the way Jokic has to approach the game, too, when you're uber small. It matters. It matters. It all matters. And I know this question is probably being asked disingenuously, but I'll answer it because it's a good question. I think, Swipa, why are you blaming Adam? When you said he's the coach of the year, you're blaming him for most leads lost. I thought during that stretch of basketball, he was phenomenal. Especially when they didn't have Jokic. It was great. Great. But what's happened is since that point, there has been a clear deterioration, and the roster has been like up and down, injuries, all that. But the rotations that he himself is questioning, David Adelman himself is questioning his own rotations, saying, I have to be able to find it. I have to do a better job. And what I'm also saying is that I've been saying consistently, constantly, you have to be able to get into a spot where you're playing better and you're coaching better. I mean, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. Again, Brendan Vogt, the same thing. David Adelman is taking a different tone tonight. Called the 2 minutes to start the second quarter acceptable. Said it's a fine if a guy who actually want to do what's asked of them and all that other stuff. Said it happened 2 games in a row. Can't happen this level again. Who said that? By the way, David Adelman. This is why you know it's an Adelman issue. David, in the game versus OKC, the Nuggets had a lead going into the second. Jokic was going crazy. The team was moving. They were hyped. They were playing with energy, even with the hurt Aaron Gordon. And David Adelman, in his brain said, in a game 7 with 3 healthy players, let's put Murray and Jokic on the bench. And they got worked. And again, Martin, the veteran, you constantly on in here complaining constantly about things and then missing the mark. David just blamed himself. That's what I'm saying. David also blamed himself. He is also saying, it's me. I am it. I need to find a better rotation. And what I'm saying is that, okay, cool. Find one. But realize that you can look at all the numbers. Get into the numbers. Get to the digits. When you play small, you're bad. When you play small at the 4, it matters because you can't rebound. You can't secure the boards. And even just your basic defensive rotations are not there. So he's self-critiquing himself. Self-critiquing himself. So it is what it is, man. You know, it is what it is. I just think that this team is having so many issues right now that the identity is just, it's just not there. It's just not there. The team isn't there. And for me, not having Peyton Watson means a lot. Not having Peyton Watson means a lot. A lot. Because he does so many different things for this team. But it is what it is, y'all. Like I said, man, I know my eyes are watching. I know my eyes are seeing. Kay Nicole, $5 super chat. Thank you. LOL. Let's not forget when Pickett fouled Julius at the basket as well. Yeah, that happened too. That happened too. But at some point, it's just like, you got to figure it out. Like, you got to do a better job. You can't keep just doing the same thing over and over again. And I think the rotation that he is asking, I got to find a better rotation, is like, yeah, you do. But like I said, y'all, they've won the Jokic minutes lately, and they're playing well. But then they're losing so much momentum. This and the thing is, if the team was healthy, yeah, you know what? You could lose momentum in a lot of spots because it's like, you know what? We got Aaron Gordon, we got Peyton Watson, we got, Cam when he was playing well. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. You just got guys. Spencer Jones was out today. Peyton's out today. And Aaron's out today. You don't have any of your wings. None of them. Literally, outside of Cam and Christian, don't have any of them. So defensively, it's like you look way different, and it matters. Yeah, I'm really trying to figure it out, man. Really trying to figure it out with this roster and with this team, what exactly they want. But here's Jamal Murray's talking. Let's see here.
Just our defense
Let's see what Jamal has to say.
was a little up and down in terms of consistency. Yeah, I think our defense was a little up and down in terms of consistency. We might have a run where we play good defense, but then we had a run where we didn't. This was tough, as a lot of us didn't make shots, so it's your defense has to be on par. We're not making shots, especially when we're not making shots that we expect each and everybody to make. So it was a tough one tonight. They beat us fair and square to the game. But we know we're capable of
Beat them fair and square.
how to beat them. And I think next game or whenever we're playing again or there's playoffs, we just gotta start early and keep the physicality and keep the focus on defense the whole game. Because like I said, we're getting overloaded, getting good shots from everybody. It's just tough when we don't make them over the course of the game, not just the last 2 minutes or whatever, but over the course of the game, we struggle to just keep up our side of the score.
One of the tells from Denver is that like Murray is always, he always keeps a level head about what's happening on the floor, and I think that helps the team out a lot. So is Jokic. So like I don't think the two best players are panicking. My biggest issue is truly Adelman right now, and obviously Jokic had a really good game for most part today. Murray came on really hot down the stretch in the third quarter and then in the fourth as well. But I just think you can't keep asking, especially when your best player is still getting back to himself. You can't keep asking like, hey, just go out there and have these, create. He's not back to that yet. And Adelman, you're like, when you run rotations where you're losing 12-0 leads or 10-0 leads at the top of the second, it's like, dude, like, and again, that Bow thing is crazy to me. The fact that Bow is automatically going to be out there right now, I just don't think these are all great matchups for him. And even in the Wolves game where they played previously, Bow wasn't like crazy. Let me check. Let me see what Jonas Valanciunas versus the Wolves has been this year. Because the last game on Christmas, he had 2, 4, and 1 for Val. He was a -9, y'all, and a -15 today. Now, dude, he was a +4 in the second game. He actually had a nice little stretch of basketball there. But it's like, this is a sign. Like, Val is not a good player versus this team. Yeah, look, Jokic looked pretty normal. He had a 61 true shooting. Jokic shot 57% from the field. Like, Jokic is also better than that. So, yeah, it's like better, but it's like not Jokic yet. And I agree with this right here. 4-guard lineup with Jokic versus 3-4 lineups and fast move. Agree. I don't understand all guard lineups. Don't understand it. So it is what it is, y'all. Like, I don't even know how to express how I feel about this. Like, I'm not even like it's not even like upset. I don't know how else to feel other than, it is what it is. Until, and I'm going to quote tweet, Benny Benedetto said David Adelman doesn't want to have Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray in the court at all time, but he feels he needs to at this point. Said he's going to explore his options moving forward. Until Peyton Watson, I'm going to say, matter of fact, let me show y'all what I'm typing so you can understand my thoughts. Because I've been saying it constantly, but it's obviously not getting through. And I know these people watch the show. Until Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon are back, you must stagger Murray and Jokic. Also, for the upteenth time, stop playing Bruce at the 4 or Cam Johnson at the 4 with 3 other guards. It doesn't work. There you go. Put that out there. Yeah, Cam Johnson, hey, brother. Welcome to the big leagues, my man. You're a really good player. You're a really good player. But, brother, you're up here, right up here, there's something I want to see from you. There's something I want to see from you up here. Like, it's just up here. You're a little bit of and I shared this with the media people. I think my biggest thing with Cam Johnson is he's so cerebral that he overthinks everything. And he's so critical of himself that he gets into the dump. And today he got into the dump. You missed that shot versus OKC? Cool. The team will live with it. Peyton Watson lived with it. It happens. But you went into the dumps after that. You played horrible today. Your defense has been really good for a lot of the year. Bad today. Really bad. You were getting bullied by Bones Highland. You were getting pushed to the spot by Bones Highland. You were undisciplined with your eyes. You were undisciplined with your feet. You're undisciplined with your hands, and your shot is not there. So yeah, brother, it's hard, and I empathize with you. It's definitely hard, but you have to play better. And you can't go into a hole. Jokic can't go into a hole. Murray can't go into a hole. Gordon can't go. Peyton Watt. It is what it is. You're gonna miss shots. Yeah, and Jokic is killing Timberwolves, man. Like, he's been going crazy with this Wolves team this year. That's what's so frustrating. And again, this is why I'm telling y'all, like, revisionist history is just so crazy, because I talked about this on Twitter already. Again, I know how it feels. Cam Johnson, versus the Wolves this season. He's only played 2 games. The first game, he had 5 points. That was October, so he missed, obviously, because of the injuries. Hasn't had that. But I think people are, like, kind of misremembering, like, what MPJ was in the playoffs. Like, Michael Porter Jr. definitely he wasn't the sole reason they lost Game 7, but he was definitely one of the big ones. Porter in the last 4 games. Matter of fact, in that series versus the Wolves, Porter was fully healthy, but again, remember, they face guarded Porter. His defense was trash, but he had 9 points in Game 2, 4 points in Game 4, 6 points in Game 5, 8 points in Game 6, and 7 points in Game 7. And he shot 25% from the field in Game 7, 1 of 6 from 3 in Game 7, 1 of 6 from 3 in Game 6, 2 of 7 from 3 in Game 5, 0 of 2 from 3 in Game 4. And then he was 1 of 7 from 3 in Game 2. Like, I hear you. But, brother, there's a reason why they also needed to get out of MPJ. He was a negative contract last year, y'all. Like, I just think, like, there's so many things that happened today, and definitely Cam is a big reason why they lost, but David Adelman said Cam Johnson's ankle affected him today. Johnson's in the x-ray room getting looked at. He's our starting small forward. I trust him tonight. The body wasn't there. Again, y'all, I will go with David Adelman if he's saying the injury is truly what cost him. Brendan Vogt rightly brings out Cam Johnson was probable coming into the game with a right ankle injury. Y'all, this is really the biggest issue, this for me is like kind of it. Last year under Malone, with a worse roster and his staff in the clutch, Nuggets were 21-16 plus 17 net. This year, 14-16 minus 12.5 net rating with a much better roster. Yikes. So we'll see, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Y'all my folk, man. I'll see you on the other side, man. Peace.